Okay, great, 2 forks high, raise the stakes, risk it all, I take the hate, this the winning team, get the Gatorade, my guy good, but he's not safe, nah. They try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide, only thing I fear is God and he on my side, that's the confidence I got, cause he got me, that's why I really feel like you can't stop me, oh, that's all you got, come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. You can't stop me. You're my biggest opponent. You know me, I know you, we know it. Whenever I fail, you always been there to simply remind me I've blown it. You don't see when I'm growing. You don't see where I'm going. You only see in the moment, you know my mistakes, you never let go it. Don't cease to amaze me, and it drive me crazy. That you catch every detail that I missed in the songs I'm making. Saying, you will never write a verse like Kendrick, never be the rapper I got from Hendrix. Top 10 alive, you will never be mentioned. Why aim so high, won't survive the trenches. Plus, you a Christian, Andy, they will never listen, Andy. Plus, we a pigment, Andy. You don't got skill, you a gimmick, Andy. Well, if I listen to you, and everything you put in my ear, I'll be living like, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I'll be paralyzed by fear. Ain't that the truth? If I quit, the only way I lose, I got 2 choices when I do this. Make moves or make excuses. If you know who I'm talking about, then you got me. My biggest enemy is me, and even I can't stop me. They try to shut us down and it ain't gon' slide. Only thing I fear is God and he on my side. That's the confidence I got, cause he got me. That's why I really feel like you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. You can't stop me. If I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop. Oh no, won't stop. I said if I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop. Oh no, won't stop. I said if I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, can't stop. Oh no, won't stop. I said if I cannot stop me, then you'll never stop me. Oh no, you can't stop me. That's all you got. Come on with it. That's all you got. You can't stop me. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. I'm my biggest problem. You don't got the power. Shut me down. That's not an option. You can't stop me. I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that. Hey, why not? Yeah, coming in hot. Just like the fajita. I write what I live. My life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow. Just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fam. I'm feeding the meter. They got the iron while I got the steamer. I bring the fire, but you never seen her. I testify, I don't need a subpoena. They want my soul, better go to Korea. I love my dog just like I'm Peter. Gotta protect him. I made the call up, but just like I'm reffing. I know we left, yeah, now we back together, but I guess that is better now. Later than never, like, what's happening? I'ma need y'all quit asking when. Me and my wife gonna have some kids. Right now, we just practicing. Teacher said quit rapping, man. That gon' hurt my average. I said thank God I ain't average. Yeah, I'm a bright young man. Kill the GPA and the BPM. Look, we on. So say what you say, cause that's A with Lecrae. From the A train to the A, I'm coming in hot. I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in. Shoot that shot. so I had to shake them up. I kept it too real. I wasn't faking up. My real life was a headline. Your real life got a deadline. My timeline was a hashtag. Your timeline just a hate crime. Coming in hot, feeling like Pac. Back in 94 when he took 5 shots. Too much drive to ride your wave. Ditch my top and I'm off that lot. Black on black on black on black on black on black on black. You don't have to ball a rap to get them racks on racks. Uber poolers trying to catch my vibe and find my way. Yeah, I know I'm ratchet, but I'm really safe. Hot sauce dripping. Everybody wanna start dipping. First nobody wanna listen. Now everybody pay attention. Now everybody pay a fee. Even Trump gotta take a knee. When the horn blow, y'all gon' see. Make the wall fall down like yee. I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot the shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot, coming in hot. Shoot that shot, shoot that shot. Shoot, why not? Hey, why not? Ain't no big, ain't no big. Feel like Pac, feeling like Pac. We can't lose, we can't stop, we can't stop. Yeah, coming in hot. Coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that shot. Hey, why not? Hey, why not? Hey, watch out. Coming in hot. When I'm overwhelmed within from the weight of all my sin, I need a friend to call my own. I need a house to call my home. When I'm broken down inside and there's nowhere else to hide.
Kickstart my heart and take my soul to the OR, cause I can't find a pulse, can't find the
Check. What? Your birthday's on Wednesday? But it's not Wednesday. Hey everybody, how's everyone doing today? How is your Father's Day? Yeah? All right. So I'm going to tell you what happened in the first hour. I'm really hoping it doesn't happen in the second hour. I said, hey everyone, what'd you do for your father this weekend? I was like, someone tell me, and it was like, that was it. Nothing. Instead, like, I heard, well, my dad did this for himself. You know why that happens? Is because you deadbeats don't do anything for your dad. All right, what'd you do?
I woke up at 6:30 and made him breakfast, and then I gave him a plate that had my face on it.
You woke up, made him breakfast, which was?
Eggs, sausage, and something else, but I forgot. Strawberries.
Okay, something else, but I forgot. Like, okay. But it had your face on it?
Yeah, I made him a plate. And that had
Like a happy face where it's 2 eggs and the bacon?
No.
No? And it's happy to see you?
Like a plate that was like printed, like
Oh.
my face.
Printed face. All right, what'd you do for your dad?
My dad's was printed on.
Cards? Okay, good. That's classic, yeah. You what? You went and got him a grill.
My plate was meant for
So, like, what kind of grill did you get him? I'm curious. Oh, like a Blackstone? Okay, very nice. I like my Blackstone, yeah. What'd you do? Key lime pie. That's, yeah, because y'all spent time in Key West. So, good choice. What'd you do? 10 days on a camping trip. Where'd you go camping? Oh, okay. Very nice. Chattanooga actually has some really nice tree houses that you can camp in. Those are really, that's cool. Yeah, I don't do tent because tent is on the ground. I will do a hammock, but not a tent. All right, so hey, it's Father's Day, and you're probably wondering why is Pastor Jason dressed like this. If you don't know, this is the iconic dad outfit, okay? And I have video proof to explain it. All right, so we're going to go through a journey. All right, the jorts, or jean shorts, okay, jorts, all right, which, by the way, are apparently making a comeback, although I couldn't find any, but apparently they're making a comeback. I went to 2 Goodwills, Betty Griffin, Walmart, and I could not actually find jorts anywhere, so these are just jeans that I cut off, Okay, and does anybody know, anyone in here old enough to know what would this type of outfit originally, these pants, been called? Where were they? Cutoffs. That's it. Because originally there were no shorts, and so you had to make your own. All right, so, and they were called cutoffs. All right, so, yeah, these are my jorts. It's pretty funny. And so I actually have a video. Some of you have seen this because one of you showed this to me, about the history of jorts. Are you ready? Let's see that video. Yes. Oh, wait, but there's audio. Hang on. Gotta stop the music. Okay, let's start the video over now. Turn it up just a touch for him.
I'm in my jorts. I'm in my jort shorts.
I love how you can sing it.
Jorts. Jean shorts. That means jorts. My name's Carl, and I wear jorts. I like all sorts of racket sports. Jorts. I got my jort shorts on the court. I'm in my jorts. I'm in my jort shorts.
I couldn't find the wig. I wanted
in my
it.
jorts.
Just didn't have time.
Jean shorts, that means jorts. My name's Tony, and I wear jorts while I'm giving book reports.
Anybody see the little
Jorts.
soul patch?
I
Yeah.
got my jort shorts, and I'm smart. I prance in my jorts. Water plants in my jorts. Take my pants and in hand, do a dance in my jorts. I can sing in my jorts. I'm the king in my jorts. By all means, take your jeans, cut the seam. Now they're jorts. I sleep in my jorts. Count sheep in my jorts. With the jean dream team on the scene in our jorts.
Hey guys,
Oh, hey, Robert.
bonjour. I was wondering, can I wear jorts too?
Of course you can wear jorts,
You have our full supports.
but forced. Let's see what you gorts.
Okay.
I wear my jorts every day of the week. They start at my hips and they end at my knees. And if you see me, you know that I'm in on their jorts and they're short and they're totally denim.
So, what do you think?
We just need a second to deliberate.
Yeah.
Dear God, that was incredible. I know. We gotta let them in our crew.
I mean, we'd be stupid not to.
Okay, all right, be cool.
I can totally hear you guys. Let's jort.
We're in our jorts. We're in our jort shorts. We're in our jorts. Jean shorts, that means jorts.
All right, so that's Jimmy Fallon. It's one of my favorite, like, just goofy shows. All right, so, yeah, jorts, 1980s, circa 1980s, really got popular. And then here's what happened. It never changed, okay? So guys just wore that in the 80s, and they just kept wearing it. And there's even a few, like, I had to be careful what I wore because I probably could have, like, blended in with a couple of gentlemen on our campus today. Yeah, and so, yeah, so they still do the jort thing. And so I've got another video about how specifically the jorts apply to dads. Are you ready?
Father's Day's coming up. Here's some outfits inspired by dads. We all know a workaholic dad. It's like, why did this guy even have kids?
Anybody got that dad?
Or, of course, the dad who's never not practicing his golf swing. Or that dad who insists on being the coach of every one of his kids' teams. Or grill dad who still stands by the joke, how do you like it, burnt or burnt? And, of course, when in doubt, you can never beat a classic. From one dad to another, happy Father's Day, dads.
Awesome. All right, so that's the classic 90s dad look. I took a picture. I had Eli take a picture of me this morning, and I sent it to the family text group that we have, and, like, immediately, like, all my brothers and my mom were like, oh, my goodness, it's dad all over again, right? Yeah, so, yeah, it's lots of fun. We're having fun. So today's Father's Day, and so we actually are doing a special edition of the Sunday morning show, right? And so joining me is another dad, Mr. Will Vanderwilt. So come on, welcome him, all right? Come on, Will. Welcome. I know, this is amazing, all right? Particularly the Patagonia fanny pack. That's it right there. That's the classic. All right, take a seat, sir. All right, so now when I met Mr. Vanderwilt, you were not a dad. No, you were like 19. You had short hair, right? Yeah, it was different times, right? Different times. I don't even. Did you have a beard back then?
Yeah, I've always had a beard.
You always had the beard, like
Since I was born.
Like Chuck Norris, yeah, just born
It
with
was
the beard.
there. It was
Yeah,
there.
okay.
Honestly, I had a beard in middle school when I was
Yeah.
your guys' age.
I mean, I started shaving in 7th grade for real. Like that's some
I kept
guys,
mine.
some guys don't. Some guys are still wishing they needed to shave. So it's good. All right, so Mr. Will Vanderwill, he's been part of our church a long time, right, along with his wife, McKenna. All right, so you are dad. How long have you been a dad now?
2 years, just over 2 years.
Okay, and how many children do you have?
I have 2 children, 2 boys. I got a 2-year-old boy, Harrison, and then my 5-month-old son, Elliot.
Yep, who I just got to hold, by the way, and
He's a giant.
he is. He's a giant. He is 5 months old.
Yes, and he's already wearing 12-month clothing.
Yeah, like just monster child. But you're 6'5", and that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, none of my kids got that gene.
I was that
yeah, it's good. All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm actually back in school right now. I'm an old dude, but I decided to go back to school about 3 years ago to get my bachelor's in construction science at UNF, and I'm currently working in construction. My goal is to become a superintendent, which is basically I run the whole job. Before that, I was a mechanic for construction tractors, so construction is just kind of
one of the reasons I have Mr. Will up here is he's one of the manliest dudes I've ever met. Okay. So tell him specifically what kind of mechanic work you did.
So I worked, before I got into construction, I worked for Ring Power. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. If you're going down, if you're going down 95 south towards Daytona and you look off right past the Buc-ee's, there's a building that has all these construction tractors out front. I worked in that building for 5 years right out of high school, and I was fixing all those big construction equipment. I was completely tearing them down. I was putting them back together, making sure they run good so that construction could be done.
Now, how big is big?
Big is big. Yeah. So the biggest equipment I've ever worked on is a D10. And a D10, any of the D series is the dozer. So a bulldozer is this giant machine that pushes dirt across a field, flattens the field out. A D10 is basically 30 foot tall. And when I was working on it, taking like the transmission and stuff out of it, I'm 6'5". I could get down into the hole where the transmission fits, and I could stand up. That's how big the machine was.
Yeah, I mean, 30 feet, that's like 3 stories.
Yeah.
So, that's not like a tractor.
It's huge.
It's a building
gigantic.
that pushes over
You
stuff.
see it,
That's
and
really
you can't even believe, like, how does that thing move? It's insane.
Yeah. Okay, so also he's come over and he's helped me do lots of mechanic stuff, but I did one without you this week. Yep. I did it all by myself.
Let me know when it falls apart.
Yeah, it worked, didn't it? Yeah, even the little light on the dash went off. Okay, so it worked. All right. Yeah, so he's super helpful. Okay, now what are you into? What are your hobbies and things like that?
Anything outdoors. If I can be in the sun for as long as possible, I'm good with that. I like to garden. I take Harrison, my oldest son, outside all the time to garden. I like to hike. Explains the hiking boots.
There it is.
These are actually my old hiking boots. I didn't get to wear them that much, but I have another pair of hiking boots that I wear way more than these. Camping. You guys said that you went on that camping trip. That sounds awesome. I can't wait to do that with all my kids one day.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to take them camping, but it's kind of hard with a 2-year-old. It doesn't really.
Because it's easier with a 5-month-old?
Yeah,
do that.
no,
It's not.
Crying all the time. It's not. But,
all right, so camping, hiking.
Yep. And then beach sometimes. I'm more into the woods than I am into the beach, but.
Sounds like a play, Into the Woods. So, where's the coolest place you have ever camped or hiked?
I mean, hiking-wise, I've been all over, but camping, Glacier National Park in Montana. And so it's like, if you guys don't know where Montana is, Florida's down here on a map. Montana's way up here, right next to Canada. And so my wife and I, before we had kids, we went on a giant road trip around America, and we got to camp actually in the national park. And it's super hard to get a campsite into the national park.
Are you going to tell them how you pulled that off?
We hiked 8 miles into the park. We parked outside, hiked 8 miles in, and found a ranger. And we're like, is there any open campsites? And he said, there's only one. We got to get there fast. And we're like, okay, can you give us a ride? So we hopped into this ranger's car, and we drove all the way to this campsite, got it, and that same ranger took us back out, got our car, and we were allowed to go into the park because we had a camp pass now. and we got to camp in the park over the weekend. And
Yeah,
it was fun.
that sounds so much more responsible than how you explained it in the first hour.
I said hitchhiking in the first hour, but it is basically what we were
Yeah,
doing. Was
he
hitchhiking.
hitchhiked, and then I was like,
Which
with
I
who?
do
He's
not
like,
recommend.
"A camp
Don't ever
ranger."
do
I was like,
that.
oh, okay, that's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah, do not hitchhike, and do not convince your wife to ever hitchhike. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a good plan. So, all right, so we've gone hiking. We've done all sorts of outdoor stuff. What do you do with your boys?
Like I said, anything outdoors.
Okay.
Harrison loves mud, so I do mudding. You know, we'll make a nice mud puddle in the backyard, let him just belly flop into it. Yeah, I actually have a picture of him yesterday, just complete, like head to toe, complete
In mud.
mud.
Yeah, that's the life.
He's starting to get into fishing, but still a little too young for that. But hopefully he'll get into that soon. Elliot, I make him laugh when he's sitting in his little bouncer. He's not walking around yet, so
Yeah.
he's getting there.
It's 5 months, yeah, but it's there. So, all right, so I asked you this question earlier, okay? Here's a hard question, and then we're going to go into some fun. So, hard question, but I'm going to change it a little bit, okay? Because I want you to, like, do something
Switching
fresh.
up on me.
Yeah, switching it up a bit. All right, so first one, what do you love the most about being a dad? And what do you find the hardest about being a dad? And then kind of what you said in the first hour, like, this is what it means to be a dad, to be a Christian dad.
Yeah, so, I mean, the first two, they go hand in hand. My favorite thing about being the dad is spending as much time as possible with my kids and seeing them grow. And seeing, especially Harrison, now 2-year-old, learning how to talk, getting him to, like, pray. We do prayer every night before he goes to bed. We do prayer at dinner, and he actually does it now. He asks to do it. That's so exciting to see him grow in that. Hardest part is, as a dad, I have to work to make sure that my family's provided for, so I have to give up a lot of my time sometimes with my kids. You know, I try to avoid working all the time, but in construction, it kind of is like that. And that's hard to leave my kids, you know, in the morning and then come back in the evening. Like this morning, I literally went and got ready in the bedroom, closed the door, and Harrison was like, "No, Dad, don't work. Don't go to work." And I was like, "Oh no!" And I wasn't even going to work. I was just getting changed to go to church this morning. So that's pretty hard. But I know it's something that I have to do because there's kids in my family or my responsibility, and I need to make sure they're doing well. And so the last part was, what does it mean to be a dad?
Yep.
Right. What I said, I'm going to repeat what I said in first service here, is before I was a dad, if you would have asked me that question, it would have been completely different. It would have been like, have as much fun with your kids, like just, you know, do the cool things, be the cool dad. And I learned very fast as a father that it's much, much deeper than that. I learned that I have to sacrifice myself for my children and for my wife. I mean, obviously, I'm a dad because I'm also a husband. And I have to be like Christ in every way possible. And I have to sacrifice my own ways of doing things and my understanding of how stuff's being done so that my kids and my family will know the Lord and glorify Him. And my goal at the end of every day is to make sure that my children are closer and closer to God, right? That's all I pray about too, is like, Lord, I pray that both my sons and whatever children you give me in the future, they know you, they love you, and they will do great things for you. And I pray that every single day. And it's always on my heart that I want my kids to know the Lord and glorify Him.
Yeah. Being a Christian dad is much harder than it looks and that you think it is, because it requires a lot of sacrifice. It requires a lot of putting your family first. And the thing is, like, Will and I actually come from kind of different backgrounds. Like, we've seen life from different perspectives, right? And so, nonetheless, the call to be a Christian dad is the same, right? And that's to sacrifice. And so, guys in the room, like, one day you're going to be potentially right here alongside of us, all right? And you're going to have to make similar decisions. And girls in the room, find a guy who wants to be that way one day, okay? You know, file that away, use it years later from now. But it's there for you. All right, so when I met you, though, you were like 19. There was an event, Mission Jacks, I think it was, that we met, short hair, all that stuff, but you always had a beard again. You're born with it. Right, and so God's allowed you to do some like really cool things, though. What are some of the things that you've seen in your Christian walk, things that you've gotten to do, both you and even with McKenna?
Yeah, so, I mean, right off the bat, I basically got saved right out of high school, and I got to come here and be a part of Fruit Cove. And through that, I was able to go to a lot of mission trips. I've been to Guatemala with Fruit Cove. I've been to London with Fruit Cove.
Now, what was important about the London one?
London trip? Yeah, my wife was here in the first service, so I had a lot more fun, like pointing her out because she never likes getting pointed out. But McKenna and I, that's my wife's name. We always tell people, because it's true, we met in London. We met in London, but we go to this church together, and because when we met, we were college age, and we both were in the college ministry, and it was really big at the time. And I knew all of her friends, she knew all of my friends, but we did not know each other. I had no clue she went to Fruit Cove. And I did not meet her until we were in London. And so that, like, we both got to go. It was very last minute, too. Both of us were put on this trip last minute, and we got to meet each other. And the rest is history. I mean, we're married now. We have 2 children, and, you know, life is wonderful, and it's a blessing.
Yeah. So always be available to do whatever God calls you to do, because you don't know where it's going to lead and the journeys that'll open up, right? So, all right, so now we're going to do some fun stuff. All right, so you've prepared, I've prepared, I've gone back and prepared a little bit more because we've already done this in 1 hour, so we've got to be fresh here
I came up with some new ones.
Yeah, okay, good.
Well,
all right, so how many of you guys like to watch the Try Not to Laugh videos? Yeah, Try Not to Laugh videos. All right, so this is Dad Joke Edition, all right? So I've got some jokes. Mr. Will's got some jokes. The goal is we're not going to laugh. We did horrible in the first hour. We both laughed pretty hard. Now, if you guys want to laugh, like deep belly laugh, have fun. Okay, that's fine. All right, yeah. All right, so let's see. Mr. Will, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Why do dinosaurs make terrible pets?
Why?
Because they're all dead. Dinosaurs are dead.
Oh, you don't want a dead pet, do you? Like, she's like, I like dead pets. What's wrong with dead pets? Like, okay, I gotta find. All right, this one was special for you. All right, special for you. My friend asked if I wanted to hear a construction joke. I said, sure. He said, I'm still working on it.
That was a good one.
That's a good one, isn't it? Yep. All right, go ahead.
What did the horse say after it tripped?
The horse say after it tripped?
Help me, I've fallen, and I can't giddy up.
I said giddy up.
All right, here we go. I accidentally swallowed a bunch of Scrabble tiles. My next trip to the bathroom could spell disaster.
That's a good one. Now I can't stop laughing. It's gonna be a laugh.
Once we start, can't stop it at that point.
Why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom? Because the P is silent.
All right. My dog loves classical music. His favorite composer is Bach. Bach? No? Okay. All right. Go for it.
What would bears be without bees? Ears.
Ears. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. All right. I got fired from the calendar factory because I took a day off. No, no,
Got some
okay.
good laughter back there.
Yeah, yeah, some pity laughs. I like it. There we go.
Why do cows wear bells? Because their horns. Because
What?
their horns don't work.
What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie?
What?
Sophisticated.
R.I.P. boiling water. You will be missed.
I got it. Anybody? Oh, that was a late one. That was a late one. That's a thinker.
Guys, earth space science. You guys take it in like 8th grade, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. I used to hate facial hair, but then it grew on me.
You picked that one especially for me, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Why is Cinderella terrible at soccer? Because she's always running away from balls.
It's good.
If you ever watch the movie, she ran away from the ball, the dance.
And she lost her glass slipper.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. All right. I told my doctor I broke my arm in 2 places. He said I should stop going to those places.
Where was King David's temple located? In between his ears.
Yeah, yeah. My friend said onions are the only food that can make you cry. So I threw a coconut at his face.
That one got me in the first one.
Yeah,
I'm still going to use that one. What do sprinters do, or what do sprinters eat before their race? Nothing, they fast.
That's it. What do you call a sleeping bull? A bulldozer.
It's true.
That's for you too.
Thank you. 2 fish are in a tank. One turns to the other and says, "Do you know how to drive this thing?"
That one took me a minute, but it settled in. That was fun. All right. Okay. What's blue and not very heavy?
Blue and not very heavy. What?
Light blue.
Okay. What's green, leafy, highly nutritious, and invisible?
Green, leafy, invisible, but highly nutritious.
This head of cabbage.
Okay. What do you call a fly with no wings?
What?
A walk.
I feel like these guys heard these ones.
I think that one, yeah. I got a couple
I
good
saw
ones.
that one. I almost did that one. Okay. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
You're up.
You're a poo.
Hey, dude, that's rude. I'm not a poo.
Okay. What's worse than finding a worm in your apple?
What?
Being attacked by a bear.
Why can't your nose be 12 inches? Because it would be a foot. Good job.
That's right. What's yellow, and if it falls out a tree, it'll kill you?
What?
A school bus.
What do you call a man with a rubber toe? Roberto.
All right. This is my favorite. What's invisible and smells like carrots?
I don't like this one.
Look, you're laughing. I ain't said it yet.
What?
All right, I'll say it again. What's invisible and smells like carrots? Rabbit farts.
All right, this is my last one.
Okay.
What do you call Batman when he skips church? Christian Bale. Christian Bale played Batman.
All right, last one for me. What do you call a girl with one leg?
I don't know what.
Eileen. She works at IHOP.
That's actually a classic.
Yeah, classic. All right, hey everybody, give it up for Will. Thank you. Okay. All right. Yeah, now he's going to go get changed shortly after this. I will get changed. All right, so. Hey, so we've been in the A Better Way series. We've got, I think, 2 more after this. Yeah, so the Better Way series, essentially, we're combating kind of what the world and this culture has been saying. Hey, focus up here. The world tells you that we should pursue happiness and whatever makes us, feel satisfied or anything like that. But the problem is Jesus is offering something that's better, but it's so countercultural that we generally kind of reject it, okay? So this week we're going to be talking about a better way than loneliness, and I'm using brain rot each week to be like our little subtitle, and so it's logged in but lonely. Logged in but lonely. I really actually almost called it AFK for all you guys in here that know what I'm talking about, but yep, away from keyboard. AFK, not C. All right, so yeah, all right. In the Better Way series, I don't really necessarily want to address just electronics or things like that, but our culture has changed so much. So this past week, I was thinking through little things in our culture that has changed over the last even 100 years, that has changed drastically, not just for our culture, but really worldwide. So just the concept of vacation. How many of you guys are going to go on summer vacation? Okay, where are you going to go? Someone tell me, where are you going? Canada. That's kind of far away, isn't it? All right, someone else, where are you going? Somewhere not going to Canada? Disney. Everyone goes. The happiest place on earth, unless you're scared of big crowds. Then it's terrifying. All right, so Ohio. More brain rot. I love it. So anybody else? Where are you going? Went to Tennessee. All right, so listen to this. Listen to this. That kind of concept of vacation is really not even 100 years old. I would say maybe not even 80 years old, because the transportation technology wasn't even there. The idea of like, I'm going to go vacation on another continent, that you just didn't do that. Because it would take weeks or months to travel somewhere to do that, right? So not only that, but our culture used to be a lot more agrarian, meaning homesteaders, farming, things like that, right? And so when you have like chickens, cows, goats, things like that, right, you can't just be like, hey, I'm going to go on vacation to the beach for the next 2 weeks. Chicken, cows, goats, don't die. Right? Like, no, you had commitments, right? And things like that. So the people who actually went vacationing were the uber wealthy people. Okay, so for example, who here has been to Jekyll Island up in Georgia? Okay, been to the Jekyll Island Club, anybody? Which is like super nice, okay? And it's where people like the Rockefellers would stay. They had like a special vacation home there at Jekyll Island, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but John D. Rockefeller made up 1.5% of America's economy when he was alive. 1.5% was just John Rockefeller and his industry.
How much is a regular?
Elon Musk just became the first trillionaire this past week, and he makes up 3% of America's economy. Just let that settle in for a little bit. Like, Elon Musk just eclipsed Rockefeller by double. That's just nuts to me. All right, so these are the people who would literally get on their own private train, because he's the Rockefeller, right? And he would ride all the way down from New York to Georgia, and he would go to his vacation home during the winter because he didn't want to be freezing cold up in New York. But then he would head back up to New York because he didn't want to be blister hot like all of us who were going to go to Disney, right? Like he wanted to have that kind of distance and stuff. That concept has now evolved to where now everybody goes vacationing. Everybody likes to get away and spend lots of money because now the economy is totally different. So that all happened because of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, something else that has happened, and they're calling it the digital revolution, all right? Kind of started in the 80s. That's when people started getting, like, digital watches. They had the Timex Ironman, right? And they got a digital calculator, right? And all those fancy things, all right? Computers still were the size of a house, and now they fit in your pocket, and your pocket computer is way more powerful than that house computer was ever. Things have begun to change in our culture, and some of it's good, right? Kind of like think carousel of progress. Some of it's good. Some of it has led to problems. There has been a rise in loneliness among specifically your age group. Your age group reports being more lonely than any previous generation in America. There's actually another survey that came out. This is kind of fun. Parents feel that their kids are too shy and socially awkward to make new friends. Like it just came out, like USA Today. Okay. Jean Twenge, she wrote a book called Generations. It's her most well-known book, but she's got lots of resources out there. She's a renowned psychologist. She has argued that loneliness is on the rise due to, and she says, electronic or digital devices. She noticed that teenagers are more comfortable interacting with peers online or via smartphone than in person. So, for example, how many of you, don't raise your hand. Okay, this isn't confession time. This is a question. All right, rhetorical. All right, how many of you are terrified to call somebody on the phone? Listen, yeah, right. You do that for a living. There is a generation where you would much rather just text somebody than call them. Now, here's the funny part. It's still not face-to-face. It's still like, my favorite is whenever I go to like a restaurant, okay, and you interact with one of these teenagers and you see them face-to-face and they're like, better yet, if you pay in cash, it's hilarious. Because you just give them cash and they're like, what do I do with this? And you're like, you give me my change back. They're like, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, but that's how we were raised, right? Now they just expect you to tap or swipe, right? Okay. Does anybody swipe anymore? I don't think so. I think it's just tap now. Things have changed. This past Wednesday, we did what? Who went this past Wednesday? VBS Fun Day. We went to Bravos, and then afterwards we went to IHOP for bottomless pancakes. A number of you guys went. It was tons of fun. Okay, there was a moment. We're in the IHOP party room, because that's a thing. So we're in the rentable IHOP party room, and everyone's getting their pancakes, or we're waiting on pancakes. And I look over, and I see this table, and there's 6 students at the table. Some of you are here. You're at the table, and I see a number of you looking at your phones. And I'm just like your friends, some of you probably would even call each other your best friends, are literally right here. And you could just be like, hello, friend, who really exists in real life. I'm going to interact with you. Instead, you were, this is even better, texting each other and sending like memes to each other, like across the table sort of thing. Like you could have just been like, hey, look at this one. And like that would have been different than just be like, here, let me send it to you so that you can reply. Like, okay, we have changed how we communicate. And there's actually research coming out that shows having face-to-face interactions with people is actually good for your mental and emotional health. Having face-to-face interactions with people where you can see people's facial expressions. That's the thing we're losing in this way of communication, is seeing people's emotions. How many of you have ever read a text and you read it angry and the person didn't mean it angry at all? All the time. Or you thought they were like secretly being judgy of you, and you're like, oh man, that's kind of rude. They didn't mean that at all. Why? Because you didn't hear their voice, or you didn't see their face as they communicated it, right? Because there's more than just words. There's body language. And another thing that's happening is we have really kind of wrecked the concept of friend. So I forgot to put the image up there, so sorry, but I'm just explaining it to you. I call it the relationship circle. And think concentric circles, like a target where you have the bullseye in the middle and then larger and larger rings that go around it. All right. In your relationship circle, what should be the very center of your relationship world? What should be that bullseye? What's the tightest knit? Family. Okay, it should be your family. Okay. If it's not, we can talk about that. Okay, but it should be your family. That should be the heart of your relationships. Okay, because really when you live with people like that, there's no like editing a version of you, right? You can't, that's too exhausting. You can't say like, I'm always this or I'm always that. Like, no, they see you for who you are, and there's no hiding it. Outside of that, we're going to say close friends. So family, close friends. Close friends and family, these are the ones that see you without the fake mask. And here's what I'm talking about, the fake mask. The fake mask is the edited version of you that you want people to know. That's the one that maybe you post on social media or you present here at church, right? Because like you show up to church and I was like, how you doing today? Good, it's great. Maybe that's a lie, maybe that's true. We don't know. That's what you say every week. The best is fine. That's the best answer. When it's like, how you doing? Fine. Fine means not good, but I don't want to talk about it, so go away. That's what fine means, right? Yeah, like whenever you say, how you doing today? Fine. Go away. Right? So we have family, we have close friends, then outside of close friends is regular friends, just friends, okay? And these are people you hang out with and you like to hang out with, but this is a little different because now you're in middle school. When you're a kid, you become friends with somebody based upon proximity, meaning how close you are physically to that other person. Let me tell you a story about Meredith. One time we are at the Chick-fil-A in the Chick-fil-A playground up near 295. Okay, and we're there, and I have to go in and tell Meredith it's time to leave. So I go in and I say, hey, Meredith, and she's playing with some other little girl. It's like, oh, you made a friend. Who's your new friend? I don't know. And I was like, you don't know her name? No. Now, at this point, she should have just been like, hey, what's your name? She didn't do that. Not at all. Like, that didn't enter into her mind that, oh, maybe I need to know this other kid's name. Like, nope, not at all. But then she says, I say, what are you doing? She's like, oh, we're playing a game. And then she starts explaining this game that she's playing. And, like, this person, like, got a store, and I'm buying stuff from the store, right? And then she talks over to this other girl, and this other girl just comes up and starts having the same conversation about the game that they're playing, and they have no idea each other's names, right? Because that's how childhood friendship just works. Like, hey, I'm a little girl, you're a little girl, we're on the same playground, we can be friends. And that's it. It changes when you get to middle school because instead of proximity, now it's more about affinity. In other words, what do you like? What kind of person are you? Are you like me? Do you like me? Do I like you? And all these questions start factoring into your friendships, and I see a lot of this change starting around 6th grade. Now, some people, what they're really looking for in these affinity groups is somebody to just accept them for who they are. And I've watched countless teenagers do this, where for a few months they're with this group, maybe it's the athletes, but then they didn't feel accepted or they didn't feel safe in those set of friends, and so they moved to the next group, and maybe it's the whatever, punk rock kids, or then you've got the anime kids, right? And you know what I'm talking about, the gamers, the honors students, right? And whatever you're doing, you just keep moving from group to group to group and changing how you look, changing your mannerisms, changing the way you talk. Why? Because you're just trying to find somebody who will accept you. Here's the better way that Jesus offers you. The world says, go find your people. Jesus says, become one of my people. I'm going to say that again so you can really lean into it and think on it. The world says, go find your people. Jesus says, come become one of my people. We're in Acts 2 today. If you want to read along, it is Acts 2, 42 through 47. And this is when the church is brand new. Like, I mean brand new. And there's not another church out there. Okay, they're just starting. Okay, and so there's not another church for them to look at and be like, okay, how do you guys do church? They have not formed the first committee. Deacons don't exist yet. Like, nothing's really happened. And they're just kind of trying to figure it out and make it work, trying to, now, what does it mean to be church? And this passage here, 42 through 47 of chapter 2, really is explaining this is what the early church did, and it's very prescriptive, meaning this is what churches should do, okay? But there's some other things about relationship in this passage that I want to look at just a little bit today. All right, so verse 42, and they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and the prayers. All right, look back at those again. 4 things right there that you see that they devoted themselves to. Teaching, fellowship, breaking of bread, and prayers. We're going to come back to those. If you underline those 4 things. And awe or wonder came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles. And all who believed were together and had all things in common. And they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. And day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all the people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. All right, Jesus offers a better way than loneliness. 1, belonging. Jesus offers a better way than loneliness, and the first one is belonging. Look back at verse 42. They devoted themselves. Right? The early Christians did not occasionally show up to church. They were committed. And they were committed to 4 things. Teaching. Now, that does not just mean like learning things about Jesus. This is when the apostles would actually open God's word and teach them God's word. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not just giving you my opinion. We are going through Acts 2, 42 through 47. I'm going to walk you through the main topics and issues and subjects of this text. So they devoted themselves to teaching the word of God. 2nd, fellowship. They spent time together. And if you read, they spent every day together. I got people who only come maybe once a month for an hour. These people were spending every day together. All right, I'm not necessarily advocating for the everyday, all right, because I like having a life outside of church too. But at the same time, like, they were committed. Breaking bread. Now, this could be 2 different things, okay? This could be referring to communion, like the Lord's Supper, right, where they would come together and they would have the Lord's Supper with the bread and the wine together, and that's what they would do. Or it could just mean eating together. You learn a lot about people when you eat with them, don't you? Yeah, sometimes not all the best things. Like, you know what I'm talking about? The ones who have the terrible manners where they just kind of like hunch over their food, elbows on their table, and the burger just stays here the whole time. Like, and then they try to talk to you while they're eating. And they don't like, it's like they never come up for air. They just keep on like going, right? I mean, try to have this conversation, you're like, oh. Or the worst is like, what, like soup or something, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my favorite middle school boy moment. Bowl of soup right here. They could just be like, soup, right? Nope. You're going to, like, hunch all the way over to the bowl where your mouth is only, like, inches away, right? And then you're just going to, like, do this number, and it's going to be like, right? No eye contact with anybody, please, because when you're doing that, like, no one wants to look at you, and it's really weird if you're like no eye contact in the moment. Okay, when you eat with people, you learn things. Okay, you learn about each other. And then the 4th one is prayer. Okay, so prayer is when we pray to God, we are aligning ourselves with the will of God. If this is God's will and this is us over here, prayer is designed for us to align ourselves to the will of God. If all of us are aligning ourselves to the will of God, we're also aligning ourselves to each other. Why? Because it's not that we're all in the same, like churches that get in line with each other but not with God, that's bad. That is destruction on its way. But if we can all get ourselves in line with God, then we're all in line with each other. That is true fellowship and community there. And it has to be done consistently. Second, a better way than loneliness is being known. Okay, so back to my concentric circles. Okay, so we've got family, close friends, okay, and then outside of that we have acquaintances. People that you're familiar with, you interact with, but whatever, acquaintances. Outside of that, you have known, as in somebody I know, and then outside of all the circles is unknown. Many people who were joining this early church went from unknown to family and close friends. Why? Because in the early church, if you were a Christian, you got kicked out of the family. Now, we don't have to deal with that too much in our culture and in our country, but our brothers and sisters around the world have to deal with this. Where I had a family. I remember talking to a girl one time. She was from Palestine. I was a college pastor. And for her to become a Christian, she says, my family will disown me. She's like, I want Jesus, but I'm afraid that my family will disown me, because she knew it was true. So what do you do in that moment? The church becomes your family. They step in. They fill in. They sacrifice for each other. All the believers were together, we see in verse 44. And not just together physically, but relationally. Students, you may have hundreds of followers, but that's not the same. You may have contacts and people in your contact book in your phone, and you will go years without talking to that person. Jesus says, come, be a part of my people. Be known. Be known. See, remember I was talking about the concentric circles? We've kind of destroyed the word of friendship because pretty much we have family and then close friends, and acquaintances. We just kind of use the word friend casually for all three of those. A close friend is someone that you can just open up and be yourself with. And if I'm being honest, I have my family and I have very few people in that close friend sphere. And I think it got worse for me when I became a pastor. Because a close friend is someone where I'm not Pastor Jason, I'm just Jason. Like, there's nothing in front of my name. Like, let me explain this. This afternoon, I'm going to go spend time with my family, with my dad, with my brothers, and listen, we all grew up together. I am not Pastor Jason in that house. I'm just Jason. There's nothing different about me than the guy they grew up with, right? I'm just Jason. Now, I have a handful of people that are those close friends where I can just be Jason. And I can be honest. I can share everything that's going on. But then when I start getting outside of that circle, this is whenever close friend starts switching to friend. The minute I have to switch back to being Pastor Jason, where I'm always having to worry about how I'm presenting myself, how I'm communicating, how I'm representing our church maybe, it's at a different level. You guys all have that level, okay? Where you are still worried about your reputation or worried about someone judging you or what they think about you. When you get to that level, you're out of the close friend range. The true design of the church is that you can come in and be family. Church is family. Church is close friends, where you can just be yourself and be accepted. See the difference in that? See, we change who we are in order to be accepted in many of our groups. Church should be where you're accepted and you get to be yourself. Third, a better way than loneliness is serving others. All right, now listen to what the Bible describes as serving others. This is nuts. And they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. That's a next level kind of sacrifice. That's a next level kind of serving. All right, I'm going to give you two quick stories, and I got to move because I'm running out of time. All right, so there's two people, or three people I really want to talk about. First one is named Barnabas. Barnabas is all in the book of Acts. He continues all throughout the New Testament. Barnabas is not his real name. We don't know his real name. Barnabas is his church name, okay? Barnabas means encourager. He's an encouraging guy. In other words, anyone who was around Barnabas felt better. Imagine that. How cool is that? Like, you come to church and everybody thinks, like, this guy is so awesome. We need to give him a new name as encourager. And we're all just going to call him encourager. And so he gets this new name, Barnabas, right? And one of the things he did is he sold a field, and he gave everything that he made from that field, and he gave it to the church. And it went to take care of people's needs. Because, again, these people are being disowned. So in this time, like, where am I going to get my food from? I don't know. I just got kicked out of my home. Where am I going to sleep? I don't know. I just got kicked out of my home. Like, and so taking care of people's needs. And everybody loves Barnabas. All right, but if you go to chapter 5, there's a couple, Ananias and Sapphira. And they wanted a church name too. They wanted to be loved and adored by the church. So what did they do? They went out and they sold a field. But they weren't as honest about it. So let's just say, whatever, we don't really know the number, it didn't say, but let's say they sold this property for $1 million. $1 million. But then they came to the church and said, yes, we sold our field for $800,000. And we're giving everything, all $800,000 to the church for anybody who has need. And it was like, oh, that's so wonderful, Ananias and Sapphira. Like, oh, that's so great. What's wrong with that? They lied. They lied. Right? Let's say they sold it for $1 million. All they had to say was, hey, we sold it for $1 million. We kept $200,000 and we're giving $800,000 away. That's all they had to do. And everyone probably would have still been like, oh, that's wonderful. Wow, that's so generous. Like, okay, that's a big chunk, okay? Like, they probably would have still had that kind of response. But no. They wanted the praise and the compliments and all that stuff. So then the Holy Spirit fills Peter, and Peter says, why have you lied to the Holy Spirit and to the church? And literally they drop dead. In church. And it says, and fear covered everybody. I bet it did. Everybody was really honest after that. Like, what'd you sell that for? $2.52, I promise, right? Like, okay, like, I mean, everyone was real serious after that point. Why? Because they were giving to each other for the glory of God. They were giving and sacrificing for the glory of God. Why? Because that's what family does. Like, you hear about some acquaintance, you're like, oh, that guy, oh, man, his house burnt down? Man, that's sad. But if it's your sibling whose house burns down, you say, hey, do you need a place to stay? You can come stay here tonight. See the difference? See the difference? All right, so last, a better way than loneliness is showing up. All right? They continued, verse 46. Day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, they received, hey guys, in the back. Breaking bread in their homes, they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved. All right, so showed up. Let me just have like a moment. I'm going to mess with your stuff. And I'm sorry, but I'm just going to mess with it for a minute. All right. Occasionally, I will have a phone call, email, or a coffee meeting or something like that with a parent who says, my kid doesn't feel connected to the youth group. Now, first off, that's a serious concern, all right? Every kid should feel connected to the youth group. You should feel like you belong. You should feel like you're accepted here. You should always feel like this is a connection. So I'll sit down, I'll start talking with the person. And if it's a legitimate concern, listen, we'll get creative. We'll figure out ways to help that student feel connected to us as a whole. But generally what happens is I start looking at the attendance reports. And I'll say like, oh, well, your kid's only been here 4 times this past year. And they'll say like, well, yeah, it's because we had, this competition or that thing, or, we have the summer home over here or something like that. And so I was like, well, they're probably not going to feel like they really belong when they never come. Would they belong to the football team if they only showed up for 4 practices? No, they get kicked off. Now, we're not doing that. But again, like if you want to belong, you got to be here. Church can't just be a priority that gets pushed to the side. And you can't say like, well, I don't have enough time. We've all got the same time. It's not like God came along to the people who go to church and say, tell you what, you get 25 hours a day on Sunday. God didn't do that. No, we all get 24 hours. And truthfully, the way you spend your time is actually how you prioritize your time. So for example, if you burned 4 hours yesterday on video games, you just told me that you prioritize video games quite a bit. And then you say, well, I don't have time to do X, Y, Z, whatever. No, you did. You just chose to spend your time another way. Listen, if you want to be a part of God's people, you want to become his people, just be here. That's a great place to start. Because look at what happens. Verse 46, day by day, attending the temple together and breaking bread. So they're in homes, they're at worship on a regular basis. They are hanging out and spending time. Why? Because these are the people they like to be around. They're saying, these are my people. This is where I want to be. Praising God and having favor with all the people. In other words, the church is being the church in such a way that people outside of the church are like, man, I want that. Right? Kids outside of the youth group see us doing it the way we're supposed to be doing it, where everyone can come, everyone's accepted, everyone belongs. They're like, why can't I be one of those? And we become inviting. We become appealing. All of a sudden, we're running out of chairs. We're running out of rooms. We can't contain everybody. There was a season, y'all, that every Wednesday night I had to bring more chairs into this room. And then every Sunday I had to send more chairs to the other rooms. Because we were just blowing it out. Why? Because we had a culture that everyone could belong. Everyone was welcome. Didn't matter your background, didn't matter your story, didn't matter the junk you're going through. Anyone can come. Anyone can be a part. Y'all, that's not changed. Psst. That's not changed. Let me ask you this. When you go to school, are you confident that no one's going to make fun of you? When you go to school, are you confident that you're going to have a meaningful conversation? When you're on your sports team, are you confident that everyone's going to be encouraging to you? Yeah. See, that's the perfect example. Because if the same is true of church, they're not coming either. Why would I go where I'd be judged? Why would I go where no one wants to talk to me? Now listen, some of us, we do it to ourselves. Like we want to just go sit off in a corner all by ourselves and not talk to anybody. And then we're like, no one talked to me. You didn't either. All right. Sorry, that's a soapbox for me. All right, but listen, if you really care about this, be a host or hostess. You see somebody who shows up on a Sunday and they're like, new? Hey, let me show you where the game room's at. Let me show you where the food's at. Let me show you where our class is at. Let me introduce you to the friends. And they leave. They're like, man, I made a friend. She introduced me to everybody. What a great place. You think that person's coming back? Absolutely that person's coming back. Why? Because that's what the church should be. It's not saying, hey, go find your people. Sorry, we're not them. No, the church is saying like, hey, come become one of us. Come be part of the people of God. And anybody can be it. All are welcome. Got a quote from Charles Spurgeon. Some Christians try to go to heaven alone in solitude, but believers are not compared to be bears or lions or other animals that wander alone. Those who belong to Christ are sheep. The sheep love to get together. Sheep go in flocks, and so do God's people. Let me pray for us, and then I've got announcements and one more video. Father, thank you for these students. Thank you for what you're doing. God, I pray that anybody who ever comes, they can feel like they're welcome, like they belong. I want every student to feel like they matter and that they can be connected. But God, more than that, I pray that I'm not the only one who wants that in this room. I pray that all of us will be so inviting because we got to become family of God when we were unknown. While we were still distant from God, Jesus brought us in and made us the family of God. God, I thank you for fathers. I thank you for what they've done in families. God, I'm aware that for some people, they may not have a good relationship with their dad, or maybe their dad has passed away, or something has made today painful. And God, I pray for those students as well. God, be with us this afternoon. May we all have a wonderful Father's Day. In your name I pray. Amen. All right, a couple announcements and then a funny video. All right, so hey, I've got like 5 spots left for camp. 1 guy spot, like 4 girl spots, and then that's it. Like there's no more buildings, there's no more rooms, there's nowhere to sleep. Like, so if you want to go, you need to sign up. You need to do that because registration is going to be closing soon. So get off the fence and let's go. All right, other thing. Ladies, you had a wonderful sunset cruise for our 8th graders. Guys, ours was canceled. And so we postponed it and has now been rescheduled to this Friday, the 26th. So if you couldn't go because the 3rd was not a good day for you, but you want to be able to go, for my completed 8th grade guys, hey guys in the back, same old Josh. Sorry. I don't like calling people from the stage, but y'all have made me do it 3 times today. All right, so if you want to sign up for that, you can 100% do that. That's going to be great. If you did not get your summer calendar for whatever reason, there was somebody apparently who's like, what's a yo night? I was like, what? Okay, so yeah, if you need a summer calendar of everything that's coming up right here, okay, our summer lunches, which is literally, I almost dropped it, summer lunches, literally we go to a restaurant and we eat lunch. That's it. That's as complicated as it is. We don't have one this week. We do have this, not tonight, but a week from tonight. We have the family ministry block party that's going to be here honoring Miss Melissa, so make sure you do that. But make sure you can get these. They are sitting right behind Mr. Justin on the counter. Okay, and last thing, in honor of Father's Day, I've got one more video for you. It has audio, and I'm going to show that to you guys now, and it's probably my favorite video. Balance. All right, so I hope you have a wonderful Father's Day. I hope that encourages your heart. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.